Let's be honest with ourselves, democracy sucks in Hearts of Iron 4. It's all passive and reactive, in a game when you're supposed to militarize and be aggressive if you want to have fun. There are some exceptions, of course. The United States can be quite fun to play, as long as you trigger a civil war in order to wake the giant early. Mexico is a surprisingly fun democratic nation to play. And now Brazil might just be a top contender thanks to the new Trials of Allegiance DLC. Yeah, I think this could be a good run for us. We're gonna try playing as Brazil, my goal being to unite all of the continent into a new United States of South America, creating another democratic superpower to go and smash the Germans and burn those dirty communists. The game starts as it always does, of course. Quickly gather up all of your troops, then we can go to our factories, make sure we build at least a few civilian factories at the beginning of the game. Choose some basic research, which comes down to the machine tools as well as the research speed. Focus most of our factories on infantry equipment. I guess some support equipment's fine, though I do want to get some artillery going. And then we jump into the national focus tree, which has been substantially reworked in this content pack, and there's a lot to choose from. Obviously, most people on YouTube are going to have fun with the imperialist or the fascist wings, because those are objectively the most fun in 90% of cases. But we're going to ignore all of that. I'm specifically wanting to work my way down to this branch right over here. Good neighbor policy leading into a lot of ties with the Washington purging fascism and communism from South America and forming the United States of South America. Funnily enough, we could actually go down kind of an imperialist route over here to get to secure our borders, and I believe that's all we would need to get to good neighbor policy. Or we could go down a right-wing path, which would also end up in that same spot. Not really sure why that works the way it does. For the sake of roleplay, I think we're going to try going down this one right here, where we are going to promote either federalism or centralization, and kind of focus mostly on a democratic solution to the United States of Brazil. That means we need to start by ending a state of emergency that is currently running rife in Brazil, which is going to get rid of some daily communist support, and y'all know I can't tolerate that. What are we dealing with here, by the way? Separatist sentiments, oh, that's good. The Monroe Doctrine, okay, an undiversified economy, a weak government, and of course the communists are spreading. Yeah, we need to stop all of that nonsense. And now we bump up the speed, and we wait for things to happen. Now, some of you guys might be wondering, oh, Pravus, why didn't you play this DLC when it first came out? I got 3 good reasons. First, I was already on a break with my family, and I happened to get sick, so it was just kind of a bad time in general. Secondly, Paradox didn't pay me for release date content, which they're not obligated to do whatsoever. I'm always happy when they give me a free key regardless. I will say, sponsorships do help make sure that it gets out on time. Third, I kind of figured out that this DLC was not going to be received very well on Steam, and it looks like I was completely correct on that point. Not because I think it's actually a bad DLC. At the end of the day, this isn't an expansion, it's more of a content pack, which is something Paradox is upfront about. But it was marketed as an overhaul for all of South America, then you end up getting national focus trees for only half of South America, and all of them kind of end in the same way, which is form a united continent. That's kind of the theme here. And I have no objection to any of that, to be honest. The national focus trees, for all the nations that we got them for, they're actually pretty good. They're just solid national focus trees. The problem is, you're competing against free mods for a paid DLC. A lot of people are not going to want that. That said, at the same time, you know, if you bought this knowing exactly what you're going to get and you're unhappy with it, at some point, that's kind of your own dang fault. My opinion, this shouldn't be a downvoted DLC. It is delivering exactly what it said it was going to. It should just have a low volume of sales if it's what people didn't want. No one forced you to buy it, okay? So if you don't want to buy it, that's a way to communicate your intent to Paradox. They'd listen to that. Anyway, with that controversy being addressed, let's jump into our first event. The Cangacco Menace? I'm not sure how you say that, I'm afraid. I don't speak any lick of Portuguese, and I don't have the differences between that and Spanish, really, in terms of pronunciation, so bear with me. The northeast of Brazil has been plagued for many years by bandits, known as the Cangacco. With instability in the capital and politicians being more concerned with remaining in power, the Cangacco are running rampant. Only through a concerted effort by law enforcement can we hope to curtail their influence in the region. Oh good, we get a whole new set of decisions to deal with them. Fun. So what does that look like? They are currently planning an operation. 330 days remain. Well, that could be a small problem. We can spend command power in order to start beginning some campaigns against them. Do that, and we are going to remove their activity in some states and get back some manpower and other resources. Well, let's end the state of emergency real quick, and then we'll take a look and see what new options just became available to us. So, do we have any focuses on these guys? I thought it said some got enabled, but I don't actually see anything right now. Oh, wait, there it is. Hang on. Deal with the Kankako over here. Okay, unlock a new decision to eliminate them in certain states. I'm going to go out on a wild guess and suggest this is something we really need to do, because this could turn into a really big crisis. What is the aftermath of the coffee crisis? This is going to modify our undiversified economy and make it a little bit better. You know, I do need that, actually, and also, we could get some industrial concerns that boost up our civilian factory construction speed and so on. Alright, I'm convinced that we should do the coffee crisis first. Let's solve this. And then Radio Nacional actually would get us some stability and research speed, and just give us the free radio tech. Alright, I mean, that's pretty good too. If you can't tell, I have not done a lot of playtesting and research on this. I'm going into this semi-blind, okay? Sometimes I'm going to make a video where I sit back and I actually will spend hours trying to perfect what I think is a meta, optimized build order, but sometimes you get into the game and you just want to have fun and enjoy your first experience with it and not try to be all try-hard, right? But I am probably going to make some mistakes and see if I can find a way to get out of those, and that's honestly just as fun to me. Not everyone agrees. All you have to do is look at the YouTube comments section. So how am I going to get rid of weak government? Because that's actually one of the things that's killing my command power and therefore my ability to deal with the Kangakau. Can we just type in weak government and see what happens here? Bribe the military, blah, blah, blah. Okay, end the military interference. That is a fair bit down this route. Okay. No, I think we're just gonna deal with the Kangakau over here first that way, and then maybe work our way down over here. I mean, what's gonna be better, do we think? Federalism or centralization? Presidential republic or a federalist republic? I mean, ultimately it's going to lead to either the Third Republic of Brazil with order and progress, which removes sentiments of separatism, gets recruitable population and so on. We can get military posts for our government. Ban the filthy communists. Do like that. Pro-business taxation. See, there's a lot of things here that increase the amount of consumer goods you need, which I don't really like. Or the opposite is true with nationalizing banks, better research speed and stability, some really good advisors, get rid of the weak government, become the United States of Brazil, defense recovery rates, as well as compliance growth. I feel like going down the federalist route is probably going to be best for us. And yeah, let's go ahead and pick up the coffee industry a little bit early. This is actually pretty cheap. Only 50 political power? Sure, we get the industrial research speed, plus we get some civilian factory speed. That works well for what I'm doing right now. I do really wish that I had a third research slot right about now. That would be pretty nice. Anyway, let's deal with the Kangako over here. And then I'm going to save this political power for a moment just to see what my new options are. If they take some of that, I'm going to wish that I had the option to just eliminate these guys entirely instead of beginning some of the... Oh, you actually have to deal with the Kangako in order to do this in the first place. Oh, okay, so if I wanted to deal with the bandits, I had to go down this route. Okay, so I think I made the right call as far as just rushing down this. I think that was the right decision. You know, at least we actually do start with a halfway decent number of civilian factories at this stage of the game. I mean, I got like 9 building things right now. That's not bad. Could be a lot worse. Anyway, alright, so that's all taken care of. I could continue diversifying my economy, but let's go ahead and start working on the national security laws. There's a whole bunch of stories and stuff. If you want to read the dev diaries for things that they did with Brazil, it's actually kind of an engaging read. How they come up with the national focus trees, what kind of alternate history they're trying to plot out based on the real politics, or mostly real politics, of the nation in question at the time. It's kind of cool seeing how Paradox parses through all of that. I enjoy it. There's the Spanish Civil War. Okay, we've already reached that stage. That felt a little early, but I mean, like, okay, sure. There's a successful operation in one of these states, and that sets them back by another 50 days. Perfect. But I'm only getting 0.22 command power per day. That means it's going to take 227 days in order to get enough political power to keep setting it back. So as things are right now, I can't keep setting them back indefinitely. This is going to be a problem at some point. It would be nice if there were a way of getting a lot more command power. That would be great. Losing the political power by embracing federalism is gonna suck. There's no way around that. That is gonna suck. However, we can offset that pretty well by picking up Benedito Valadares, which is going to get me that political power gain, and make all political advisors cheaper. So the sooner we pick that up, the more political power we save. Now we are going to implement a National Guard, which is going to create a new template and give us a few free units, plus military police for free. Do we actually have any compliance issues? I didn't even check that. No, we technically don't have any occupied territories. I was curious about the whole separatist sentiment thing, like maybe technically there's like an occupied territory. I don't actually know the history of Brazil very well, all right? I mean, besides, you know, the fact that it was part of like Portugal's colonial empire, etc., but I wasn't sure if maybe around this time, you know, there had been some territory that had been subjugated for a while. It looks like no, though, so okay, I'm just revealing my American ignorance here. Anyway, that takes care of another round of the Kengoko. Kengoko? No, Kengeko? Kengecho? What is it, that symbol? That weird little C? Let me see if I can find out how you pronounce this. I need to know.
Cangaço. Cangaço.
What?
Cangaço.
Really?
Cangaço.
You're kidding me. That's how that's pronounced? Kegasu? That's not at all what I expected. All right. Anyone who speaks Portuguese is cringing horribly by what I was saying. But I'm sorry, my little English brain's looking at that, and it's just like, that's not at all how I would have thought it was pronounced. Holy crud. I'm still gonna pronounce it wrong, alright? Kegasul? Kegasul?
Cangaço.
Whatever, alright, fine. Hey, the more you know, right? You learn something every day. And it's mainly that Portuguese is weird. I'm allowed to say that, by the way. I'm of Dutch and German descent, but mostly Dutch, which means I got a little bit of a rivalry against the Portuguese, right? Pretty sure? Anyway, let's get rid of the weak government. That will solve a lot of problems with stability, political power, and so on. Also, get rid of the support for the unaligned. I need to keep everything nice and democratic. By the way, this will be the first ever Paradox video that my wife is going to be trying to edit for me. She's done a handful of editing for other videos for the last, couple of months. She's getting better, by the way. If you watch things like the They Are Billion series, you'll notice she's starting to add her own personal flair, which I think is pretty darn funny. But she has no idea how these games work. This is all a foreign language to her. So, hi, honey. Good luck. And everyone, give a thumbs up or a comment down below and leave some support for my wife. She's trying her best. All right, now we're going to start making a halfway decent amount of command power again. That's a 40% boost. Open up the political discourse, remove separatist sentiments. Yeah, that sounds good. And now, by the way, we are able to get enough command power every, 68 days or something like that. We actually have a good chance at maybe being able to completely nullify this before it becomes a problem. That's good. If we had not done so, one of three things would happen. We would apparently lose manpower, resources, and construction speed, and so on, or lose base stability. At the end of the day, is that something we could recover if we ignored this? Maybe, but we can also just sidestep it entirely, so why not? And let's go ahead and move on to partial mobilization. Thank you kindly. That means I'm going to get a lot more civilian factories working for me. Good. And we even have the political discourse, which means now I can go for the modernist architects. Perfect. Okay. Nationalize the banks for even more consumer goods? Sure, why not? I tend to like going for the political focuses at the beginning of the game, alright? I know that there's probably some meta you can do as far as going for just the right number of industrial or militaristic focuses and stuff so you can really ramp up. And that's fine. In this case, though, it looks like I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone. I'm working on exactly what I want to. Which is to say, I'm not only stabilizing the nation, I'm also getting some pretty solid economic benefits. The faster you get this running, the faster you snowball. That said, I really do need to get some military factories. If I'm going to have my people training, they're actually burning through my artillery a little bit. Alright, we're going to have one factory work here on artillery and start producing a little bit. But I need to get these military factories up and running, man. I'm going to keep building at least a couple more of these civilian factories, and then once we got a full stack, yeah, I think it's probably time to go ahead and start getting military factories instead. I don't know when we go to war. So normally as a democratic nation, right, you usually just kind of try to peacefully annex nations next to you and form a new union, right? That's kind of the idea behind it. I'm pretty sure, though, we're going to find, if we look at things like factions, no. Can we see ideology here? Is that a thing? Yes, there we go. There's at least a couple of fascist and communist nations around here. We don't tolerate any of that nonsense, and I doubt that they will subject themselves to us peacefully in our new grand South American Union. So it's not going to be a perfectly peaceful run. Mostly peaceful. Mostly. I do want to get Article 138 next. I keep looking to see if there's another direction I want to go, but this is good. 15% more political power gain, some stability, and some research speed. Solid, solid, solid. Now, let's see. If I want to go to things like the United States or Brazil, I need more than 25 factories. Okay. We're close to that, actually. I've already got 22, and we're about to finish up with number 23, so I'm glad I've been working on these as aggressively as possible. That was a happy coinkydink on my part. I don't suppose any of these industrial focuses just give me a factory. Is that a thing? Yes, this one would in Rio de Janeiro, so that could be good. We get a few different research bonuses. Promoting immigration improves states. And then stimulate the economy will get me the rest of the way there. So if I went down these two focuses, that absolutely gets me to the 25 we need. That said, addressing labor disputes, that also would be an option for us. And that solves the problem, it looks like. And the Kegasul have been officially removed. Okay, good. They're not spreading in any more states. Bye, losers! Let's go ahead and start working on, let's say, some land doctrine cost reduction here. And do I want to get the other advisor right now? I guess it's not a bad idea. I think I will want this guy. Normally I wouldn't take anything with diplomacy. I just don't care about diplomacy that much as a rule. I tend to browbeat people into submission. But I think that the extra political power gain here will help, and I think this will actually work well for what I want to do later. So we'll stick with some of this. So now we're making 1.07 political power per day, while also doing research with our companies. Okay, that's not bad. And as far as doctrines, what do we want? Not mobile warfare, I'm almost positive. We've got lots of hills, jungles, mountains. I'm not going to rely on mobility as much. This is going to be mostly an infantry, artillery, mountaineers, and air support type of an army. So to me, it's either going to be grand battle plan or superior firepower. If I can get the industry, I always prefer superior firepower, though grand battle plan is not bad. But I'm going to go down superior firepower. Sorry if it seems a little boring, but it works. I'm going to be trying to go heavy on things like artillery and planes. This works really well if you want to have things like air-land battles and actually try to kind of make them all work together. Besides, if I am successful in uniting all of South America under my rule, I'm pretty sure we're going to have enough factories that we actually can become effectively a world superpower and start getting a lot of industry. So that would work well with superior firepower. Here comes Article 138. Thank you kindly. We could go for that research slot. I mean, worth it. Yeah, let's do it. Also, extra soft attack and reliability for infantry equipment is not a bad plan. Japan just declared war on China. Okay, that has officially begun. Someone new just took power in Paraguay. They are non-aligned now, technically. Okay. Communism appears to be more or less removing itself. I like that. Let's see. We can get an expert infantry leader. So we can get the extra attack and defense. It's not too bad for me. I do like getting things like the air superiority or ace generation. What about chief of army? We don't have any geniuses, which does make me sad. But alright, we'll take the defense and the 0.3 extra army experience per day. That should let me start working down some doctrines. Research slot is mine, which means now we can work down... Let's see, I can't do the labor disputes. Alright, let's go ahead and get... Let's fix up some of the... I was going to say let's actually fix up some of the undiversified economy, but I really want to get that extra factory. So let's do that first. That'll solve that, then we can move toward federalism. How long, by the way, until I have about 60% support here? Very soon. We're at about 59% soon. So in about one, maybe two more focuses, we actually will be able to move on. So by the time that I have finished federalizing and creating the United States of Brazil, then we can move on to the addressing of labor disputes, and we can continue working down the tree. This is actually timing out surprisingly well right now. Let's research small airframes. Might as well get that a-rollin'. That's the factory. United States of Brazil time. Bada boom. There we go. United States of Brazil, and we have 60.19% support. That timed out really well. Let's go ahead and address the labor disputes. What is this god-awful flag in the top left? Ugh! 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 I want to vomit. That's just disgusting. Whose idea was this? I'm not using that for the thumbnail, okay? I refuse. I will not do it. I am not using that for the thumbnail. It disgusts me. Alright, so with the labor disputes, we can decide if we want to adopt some pro-labor policies, hurts my consumer goods, makes war more penalizing, but you get 10% production efficiency retention, which is pretty okay. Or, we get the military factories and some more support, which I will need, we lose a little stability. Worth. Absolutely worth. So, invite foreign corporations. So we go to the allies and say, hey, UK, US, France, Brazil, would you like to maybe just go ahead and just send some companies our way? And then it looks like we can get some nice designing things. Ooh, hang on, some builders that make everything else faster? This could work for my Air Force really well. Or there's war bonds, which saves me even more consumer goods, and 20% war support, frick me. Or the international crisis. Join faction tension limit, send volunteers, air volunteers, etc. Okay, being able to send some volunteers could be nice. We could actually start farming out a bit of experience. I think I'll do this. Maybe we can still get involved a little bit in something like the Civil War. It looks like the Spanish Civil War is going to be ending pretty soon, actually. I don't think the Republicans are lasting, dude. I think the Nationalists got this. Alright, with that being true, forget this for a minute. Let's go ahead and focus instead on the war bonds, reduce that consumer goods even further, get more factories, build faster. This is all about snowballing. It's kind of like when you're doing like lots of investments, right, and stuff like that, and you know, maybe you've read about like the FIRE movement and something like that, you know, the whole financial independence, retire early thing. This is what we call the accumulation stage. Alright, we're building up faster and faster. We're trying to hit the exponential curve. We're not going to hit it for a while, but that's what we're shooting for. Anyway, war bonds is done. That frees up nothing. That didn't get me any factories. Really? I didn't get a single... You know? Doesn't that just beat all? Ain't that just the way? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to try inviting the MIO corporations from 4 different countries and see if there's anything we can do that's going to make things a lot better for us. I don't know. How do we level... Do we share experience for a company? Is that a thing? If the United States has a company, and they're using it to develop any of their research and their production, and they're leveling it up, but then I invite it, do they level up faster, and both of us profit as a result? That would be very interesting. Alright, well, we'll come back to that in a minute. Do we want me to move on to the international crisis now? Let's see, that could lead to the good neighbor policy, which means we start getting some opinion up with all of our neighbors. And then reach out to our neighbors. We can organize the American states, get a faction going. Sure. Then try to start purging people, get puppet focuses on some nations. Sure. Okay, we could go down this route. If the United States was at war, we could go down the left route here easily. But I think we can go down the right route and peacefully join things together. Start getting some research-sharing groups. And then offer decisions to invite democratic or non-aligned nations to merge. This is what I'm shooting for. The faster I can go down this, the faster we can snowball our nation. I need all of their factories, all of their cores, all of their manpower. Let's start by inviting some corporations from America, see what these guys are going to have. I will need to boost relations with a few other folks. Maybe we get like an air designer from the UK. They're supposed to be pretty good with their Air Force, right? I mean, you know, maybe not as much today. The United States is kind of the dominant air power of the world by a long shot. It's not even close. But like, yeah, I mean, the UK back then, they had the Royal Air Force. Yeah, maybe that'd be pretty good. And if anyone gets mad at me for saying that the UK's Air Force is nothing compared to the United States, that's just because you haven't done your research. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. Yep, still top 5. US Air Force, US Navy, then Russian Air Force, then US Army, then US Marine Corps. It's ridiculous, dude. Alright, so we want fast tank designer, range-focused aircraft designer, or shipbuilding. It would be nice to have a Navy. If I go to the Americans for the Navy, we're never going to do tanks. Alright, that's just not going to happen because the terrain here does not support it. So while I would like tanks, I don't think that's a good idea. Aircraft, I think I'll go to the UK. Shipbuilding, I'm going to go to the US. Let's go ahead and get a new shipbuilder that should be a little bit better, focusing on task forces. And it looks like it just got me a free trait point. Is that all it did? If that's the case, this is a lot less exciting than I thought it was going to be. What even is the naval meta anymore? I'll be completely honest, I have not really been following a lot of the development around some of this stuff. People still like the heavy cruisers, or did that stuff get nerfed to all frickin' heck? It probably did, if I'm completely honest. I don't know. I just haven't been paying attention. Look, there are people on YouTube who only play this game, and they're really good at it, and they've got like 4,000 hours. I'm not one of those people. I'm sorry. I've done a lot of really cool, fun, impressive stuff in this game, but I have too many other things in my life, dude. I mean, look at some of those people and ask them to work a full-time job, 40-plus hours a week, have a kid and a marriage and blah, 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 and also put in several thousand hours while also trying to have the variety to play other games. It can't be done. It's just not enough time in a day. So, I don't know the metas. Sometimes I just have to read up on it, and that's okay. Let's go down the good neighbor policy. Like a good neighbor, Brazil is right there. I'm going to research and upgrade to things like some destroyers and stuff. I'd like to at least have slightly upgraded ships. That would be nice. Uruguay, what just happened down over here? All right, they're democratic, so that's all looking solid so far. So actually all that's left are the fascists in South America. Okay. Given some time with a faction, I mean, why go at these guys alone? If I can get a bunch of people into a faction, we could just go and smash Ecuador. No, Ecuador's fine. Peru and Venezuela. We should be able to do that. In fact, maybe it'd be a good idea to go ahead and start training some more troops now. Yeah, I think that's the case. We don't have a lot of equipment to go around. I'm missing a ton of infantry equipment, but we're getting there. The public opposes rearmament. In the upcoming election, support for UDB is still high, but the people having confidence in our sales leadership, however, the party's pursuit of increasing our military matters is not popular. Really? Because I've got 99 war support? So I think you're talking to a very loud minority. We could end our partial mobilization. No. I refuse to do it. I'm sorry. I just won't do it. No, I'm happy with what I got. Who's our current leader, by the way? Okay, so we have decent democracy support, but is that what I need right now? Would I rather have stability, research speed, and reduce fascism? Maybe. Or anti-authoritarian. Political power, advisor costs. It's not even that helpful anymore either. Yeah, I mean, the political power is nice, but the thing is, what am I going to do with all of it right now? I've actually already got almost everything I care about. That's the weird thing. I don't actually benefit from that much more political power. I'm thinking we go with this guy for the research speed and everything. Everything but the war support is good for us right now. So I think we'll just go ahead and change up leaders. Hi, buddy. Proper democracy. Hey, peaceful transitions of power. This is great. And we've got the good neighbor policy. We can now reach out to my neighbors, see if we can create our faction. Got it. Okay. And then the South American Joint Military Exercise is making us better in a lot of different terrains. One of 6 things will happen. This is not a guarantee we're going to get what we want. Okay. Could increase our defense spending. Yeah, for a little while we have more consumer goods reduction and factory output and so on. It's an option. Let's first see if we can maybe invite some people. Oh, I need a lot more political power. Well, I really wish I hadn't picked up an advisor just a minute ago to boost up my 8th generation chance. That was completely unnecessary, it turns out. Fun. Well, I'll just go ahead and start working on the joint military exercises. We'll see what comes out of that. Maybe you... Well, wait. Do you think this is one of those things where you boost your chance of getting something good if you have other people in your faction? Because that would make sense. Hold on. Maybe we stop that. I am gonna go ahead and pick up probably the defense spending. Seeing what's coming up, let's go ahead and grab a spy agency so I have the option to go for Disrupt Operation Bolivar, which could potentially really upset the Germans, but that's fine. And then who likes me enough that they might be willing to join? Chile likes me. They are getting a little bit dangerously communistic. Might be worth trying to invite them and see if they will join us now before it's too late. So I will, because then hopefully we'll have the opportunity to integrate them, even if they are communistic. I hope that doesn't happen, but we will see. They have accepted. Together we defend democracy! Yeah, for democracy, you alien bug scum! Who else do I want? Colombia would probably be a good one to pick up. Yeah, and they like me reasonably enough. Cuba is considered to be democratic or non... They are! They're heavily democratic. And I never think of Cuba as being that way, but I guess we haven't had a Castro issue quite yet, so, yeah. Could invite them. Not a high priority, but we could. Hey, little baby man. Hey, how you doing? You getting so much bigger. Oh, little baby, look at the camera. Can you wave? He's getting so big! I've had some people ask me the question like, are you allowed to show your child's face? I don't know what to tell you. It's my son. I'm not using him for marketing purposes. I'm mostly just a proud papa. Let's invite Ecuador, by the way, because I'd like to be able to use them all against Peru when we decide it's time to smash fascism. And we also should consider designing some planes. Though I don't even think I have, like, any meaningful weapons or anything right now. We got just torpedoes. Never mind. I was gonna say, let's use the air experience for that, but I guess we can go ahead and pick up something like battlefield support for right now. Need to research very basic guns to strap onto my planes. It takes a while to set up an Air Force if you haven't got any sort of proper research already done. Takes a while. What's stopping someone like Argentina? It looks like they need to have a lot more opinion of me. Opinion's relatively easy to boost, honestly. Let's go ahead and start boosting those relations up a bit. There we go. Brought them up to 50 in just a few days. Let's go ahead and invite them too. All right, and no, adding people to our faction does not appear to improve our chances of good things happening. Darn. All right, it is what it is. There's Argentina. Yes. And we'll invite Bolivia as well. Yeah, this whole 50 extra acceptance for diplomacy thing, I think is actually paying off in a really big way for us right now. Bolivia rejected, though. Well, that makes me sad. Kind of wanted their help. Can we keep asking? Or can you all like, come on, join, come on, you know you want to, come on. No, we can't nag? Wait, yes we can. We can totally nag them. That's stupid, but okay. Let's get war goals that we can use against Peru. Now Bolivia says yes, that's it. If at first you don't succeed, keep asking. Eventually they'll give in. So how's our faction looking now? Okay, that's pretty solid. That's really solid, in fact. Peru and Venezuela, never gonna happen. Uruguay we need to pick up. And then this is the Netherlands, so that's not gonna be a thing. Okay, so we're not gonna be able to do much about the allied territory over in this direction. So I'll get Uruguay, then we'll have all of South America in my faction with the exception of the nations I need to go kill, and then we can start working our way up Central America and into the Caribbean as well. I didn't even know I could pick those up as part of South America. This is gonna be a massive United States. If anything, honestly, this feels a little bit too easy. Like, Peru and Venezuela, you guys are screwed. You're surrounded on every possible side. What are you gonna do? Nothing. We'll go ahead and start working on getting the research group for everybody here. I've got war goals. I can now go ahead and declare war and try to turn Peru into a puppet. Do we feel like we've got enough troops with all of our allies? I mean, Peru's gonna be a tough nut to crack, especially since I have pretty terrible supply. Not that they're doing that much better. We could probably rush up here to Ecuador and try to cut some of this off. My allies don't have a ton to work with. I should probably give... Oh, Panama rejects. I should probably give Bolivia an opportunity to get their organization up, and Chile is moving up over here too. Yeah, okay, so my allies are currently getting set up for war. Let's give them a second. And I think that's probably good enough. All right, let's declare the war. And go and fight Peru. And it looks like we can smash through them fairly effectively here. So that's at least looking really good. In fact, if my cavalry can literally just run down here and split these guys around Lima, that'd be hilarious. I doubt it. But, like, if we can, let's try. Oh, I haven't even called on my ally. Right, hang on. I should call my allies in. Or do I even need their help? Will I got enough war score to puppet these guys proper? Probably. Interesting, but we can't call most of them into war because they're like, this is dangerous and it's an offensive war and we're democratic. Frickin' heck, why are democracies so bad? Like, legitimately, this is gonna be a problem, isn't it? Because they're gonna be all like, you know what? Yeah, you created a democratic super league. That's great, but we're not gonna help you with any wars. I'll be all like, well, then what's the point then? Anyway, we now have some support. Apparently somebody refused to do this. I don't know why, but okay. Joke's on you, I benefit even if you do reject. And the more people support, generally the better, right? So, I don't even remember what that does exactly. We've got a bunch of research bonuses. I'm not going to form the United States of South America. Well, we could, actually. Okay, so this doesn't happen instantly. It's a decision thing. So, we would individually offer to annex different countries. Huh. Well, I can hold off on this for a little bit, because I'm not doing anything until we've won some stuff, and also I have more nations to invite. So, let's keep working our way up. Although it looks like everyone's rejecting my offer to join the faction now, which makes sense. Once you're in a war, why would people want to join your faction, right? So... Huh? Wait, what? What just... What? Why did they just suddenly sign a white peace for no reason? Hello? I've got no idea what just happened. Let's try reloading an autosave and figure out what the heck was going on there. I still want to take all of this. Did my allies just sign a white peace? Like, what the heck happened? Was this a timed war that I didn't know about? Now that I think I'm on the clock in some way, I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive here. Let's see how quickly we can take these guys down. Well, okay, let's go ahead and get the undiversified economy. Let's go for some stimulation here and so on. Yeah, that's one of those things where if that had happened in an Iron Man game, I'd be really peeved. And all we need to do is get in here, and that should be the end of Peru. Perfect, thank you. All right, you are now going to be my puppet. Except apparently for the territory that people refuse to give up. What the frick is wrong with you people? This is why I don't like sharing wars! At least they're smart enough not to take anything from me. Frickin' heck. Alright, let's see if we can get some score. I want your ships, thank you. And that'll do the job. Alright, the Republic of Peru has been created for democracy! Next on the chopping block, Venezuela. And let's do a mass round of invites and see if everyone's going to join. Looks like everyone did. Okay, so the faction now looks like this. Not bad for a first video. All right, that's where we're gonna end things. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and are looking forward to this quick run of a democratic Brazil. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.